Joining me now from Southern California, Executive Director of San Diego County Gun Owners PAC, Michael Schwartz. Michael, congratulations. You live in a city, or at least near a city, that is turning your firearms effectively into a brick. So how exactly does this work? When you have a bad guy in your house and you have your gun locked, are you supposed to say, "Excuse me, Mr. Rapist, don't attack my wife just for a minute while I go find my key and unlock my gun so I can shoot you"? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's funny. A very similar case went to the Supreme Court back in 2008 when Washington, D.C. had a gun storage law, and Justice Scalia actually made fun of that during the argument and said he'd have to wake up and turn on the light and grab his reading glasses and then try to decipher the code on his box. But it's absolutely ludicrous. It's almost completely and totally unenforceable. And you know, they said that that this was going to somehow stop suicide or prevent crime. There's absolutely no reason to believe. There's no study to confirm. Nothing. Common sense tells you that that's not what's going to happen at all. It appears to be a city attorney named Mara Elliott, and the city attorney's job is to be the attorney for the city. She's not supposed to be an extremist activist. She's supposed to be the attorney for the city, but I think she has higher ambitions as far as public office, and so she's putting this forward to raise her name ID, and
probably
it's completely ridiculous.
And she probably looks at this suicide pie chart, right? That 50% of suicides in this country are by firearm, but then the next big chunk of the pie, and it's a large chunk, I think it's like 30% or more, is pills, if you will. It's suicide by taking some sort of poison, but you would consider an overdose of pills in that category. So what's she going to do? Is she going to make you lock up your pills next? And what about a vehicle? You can commit suicide in a vehicle relatively easily. Drive it off a cliff in San Diego, or possibly close your garage doors and the carbon monoxide poisoning will kill you. What's next?
Well, but what doesn't make any sense is even if you are forced to lock up your pills or lock up your firearm, if you want to use them illegally, then you would simply unlock them. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's true too.
That somebody has to lock up their gun so they won't commit suicide with it.
So who enforces this?
Well,
would it be ostensibly the San Diego Police Department if they go in and make a welfare check, or do they actively look for violators?
So that's how you know that this is a horrible law, because at the press conference when the city attorney was announcing this, she had to assure reporters and people at the press conference that she promises they weren't going to go door to door to enforce this. She didn't say that going door to door was, un-American or immoral or illegal even. She just said they weren't going to do it. So,
so in other words, she's going to abide by the Fourth Amendment. That's
yeah, isn't that nice? But she seems to be indicating, not clearly, but she seems to be indicating that really it's going to be an opportunity for them to have the conversation. And if that's the case, then don't make this a misdemeanor so it messes up somebody's life and they have to, give up rights or liberty or whatever. Just make it an infraction at the very least. So I don't really believe that she's simply trying to raise the conversation. I think she's trying to turn gun owners into criminals.
And it's not a done deal. This is the good news, although it all but is. In other words, there's two readings the way the San Diego City Council operates. It's not a done deal. So correct. I think that we ought to get people involved. So there's, 8 city council members or 9?
There's 9.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 of them. This is the first one, Vivian Moreno. That's her phone number, 619-236-6688. She would like to hear from people in Florida, I think in Texas, who understand gun rights, and maybe she needs to understand that, potentially what happens in California can spread to other states, and that's why everybody needs to be aware of what's going on here. Here's the next city council genius. Her name is Barbara Bree, 619-236-6611. Now, a similar situation has been already enacted in San Francisco, and it's been litigated already, right? This doesn't look good in terms of appealing it to the courts unless it goes to the Supreme Court at this point? That's
correct. San Francisco has this on the books. It was the Ninth Circuit Court. It was taken to court. The Ninth Circuit Court ruled that it was constitutional because it is slightly different than the Washington D.C. Law that required them to lock up their firearms inside the house. I don't think it's substantially different. The Ninth Circuit Court has historically been anti-Second Amendment and anti-firearms ownership. So they said, oh no, it's different. It's substantially different. But then the Supreme Court didn't take the appeal. So we're stuck with this law, and it is now spread not just from San Francisco, but not just San Francisco, but it's spread to, I think there are 10 cities.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.